the opening ceremony at Beijing as a result of what's going on in Tibet? And should you indeed go further and encourage your athletes to consider boycotting the entire Games?
You want to?
C'est à moi. Ah, bon.
Well, on this issue of the boycott, I note that the Dalai Lama himself has not called for it, has not wished for it. No more than he's called for the independence of Tibet. That, furthermore, none of the 27 members of the Union has called for it or suggested it. That's as to the question of substance. Now, having said that, we have a common view, and we share our analysis of the situation. We have been shocked by what has gone on in Tibet, what's been happening there, and we've expressed our deep concern, each in our own way and in our own, with our own words, but it's the same concern that we are expressing. Thirdly, we both of us believe that the only solution is to renew dialogue between the Chinese authorities and the Dalai Lama within the framework of respect for Chinese territorial integrity. Now, having said that, we have our individual issues and domestic issues to deal with. At the time of the opening ceremony, I will be in the presidency of the European Union, so I have to sound out and consult my fellow members in order to see whether or not we should boycott. And secondly, and am I not right, Bernard Kouchner, I'm going to try and use the coming months, to try and pacify the situation. And according to how the situation is looking at the time, I reserve the right to say whether or not I will attend the opening ceremony and whether there is need to take other initiatives. Our British friends have another problem, which I fully understand. They are great sportsmen and women, as I am, but they happen to be hosting the next Olympic Games, and therefore the Olympic flame will be passed to them. So it has nothing to do with political stance. It's that you will be organizing the next Olympic Games. For the rest, our position is simple, and it seems to us that it is a reasonable, reasoned, firm position. At the same time, our aim is not to have China basically freezing on a nationalistic position. We have to understand this, whilst at the same time upholding religious, community, and other rights. But we do not want China basically to close in on itself and to become more nationalistic and harsher. So it seems to me that we're in complete harmony on this.
We will not be boycotting the Olympic Games. Britain will be attending the Olympic Games ceremonies. And at the same time, the President has said that the Dalai Lama has not called for a boycott of the Olympic Games. I think the main point that President Sarkozy made is the right one, that in the next few days and weeks, not only should we be calling for an end to violence, but calling for restraint on all sides. It's absolutely important to recognize that this can be only solved by reconciliation and by dialogue. The Premier of China has already made it clear that the Chinese authorities would be prepared to talk to the Dalai Lama, subject to two conditions that I believe the Dalai Lama can meet, and that is the renunciation of violence and that he is not calling for the full independence of Tibet. I think there is a basis for moving forward, but of course there must be an end to violence and there must be restraint on all sides. Okay.